Corso and Catone.
Listen, Mark, hold on. When I say, would you have caffeine today?
What the hell is that up to?
Presented by Special Sauce Podcast, Studio 42 Design, and Corso Law Group. Now for the real deal New England feel, Corso and Catone.
Welcome into Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. I'm Corso. Catone is here. Joe is in the booth, and you're with us watching on YouTube, listening on iHeartRadio. Hey, wherever you podcast, Apple Podcast, anywhere you podcast, you can find us, and you can watch us live on Podbean. And don't forget to give us a call, 855-313-PATS, to our heated hotline. Anything's on the table, 24/7. Leave us a message. Want to hear from you. Hey, we want to hear from you about your Sunday spread, your picks of the week. If you're making money out there, let us all know so we can all make money at the sports book. So 855-313-7287. Got a good one today. Got our state of in Pat's preview. We got our state of the Patriots address from Mark and I at the midway point of the season. Mark and I will have our thoughts on where we are as a team, and of course, in Real Deal, we're going to have our Sunday spread. So step up to the sports book. Mark will have our locks of the week. And Mark, good to see you, pal.
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Ready to go for this today?
I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I mean,
listen, a lot to talk about.
It is. There is a lot to talk about because I mean, this Patriots team, man. I don't know. Back and forth. But when you look at the standings, well, we're going to get into all that right now. So in Pat's preview, Joe, let's have it. So at the midway point of the season, Patriots are 5-4 heading into their bye. This is their bye weekend. There's not really a halfway point anymore, right? Because there's 17 games.
There's 17 games, right? Yeah. So
yeah,
a little different.
They played 9, 5-4. I mean, I want to break down where they are. Where is this team offensively, defensively? Mark, generally speaking, is this where you thought they'd be at this point when you looked at this?
I think I thought they'd be possibly, Chris, instead of 5-4, I probably thought they would be 6-3 because I thought they would lose to the Bears, right? 5-4, 6-3. I figured it'd be around this number probably. So I'm not surprised by the record. I think that's what I thought they'd be right around there somewhere. I don't know about you, but that's what I thought.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was the Colts. It's the Colts game we didn't know. I mean that was a game,
at the time we thought the Colts
suck.
game, right? We thought the Colts at the time were going to be better, right?
Right, and they suck worse than Chicago. So I mean, no, I didn't have them losing to Chicago either. But I also that Green Bay game, that friggin' overtime game.
That's gonna come back to haunt us, Chris. I'm going to tell you
for
that
the rest
right
of the season. We'll chase that one.
That's going to haunt us.
All they need to do is just throw the ball a little bit, be a little more aggressive. Okay, we can go. I mean, we can go back to every one of these games and pick time. But that Chicago game is one that really
the Chicago game hurt.
That left you scratching your head. So
only because Chicago hasn't won a game since.
And so now, So now moving forward, I mean, and we're going to get to that after the break. We're going to talk about the standings, who they can catch, what we think their predictions are, but breaking down the team itself.
Yeah.
And when you look offensively, because that's where the biggest problems are right now, it's on the offense. And so when you look at this team on offense right now, Mark, I mean, that against the Indy, I mean, that's a game, that's a get-right game if there was ever a get-right game, and I know they won the game by a bigger margin, but offensively, this is pitiful what's happening. Break it down, man.
Chris, they should have scored between 40 and 50 points in that game. The way the defense performed at home, you definitely should have scored over 40 points. Chris, they don't utilize the talent that they have in a way that other teams do. Example, So they run wide receiver screen, wide receiver, I don't know, whatever you want, reverse, whatever you want to call it. They're running that with guys like Jacoby Myers. What do you have Thornton for? I don't understand. What do you got Thornton for? That's what Thornton was drafted for. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, he's got all that speed. I mean, you're right. He's got all that friggin' speed. You know, you love him, and that's what we talked about coming into the season. Yeah, you can use him on jet sweeps, things like that. I don't mind necessarily that they took Jacoby Myers in a little gimmick play, put him on the center on 3rd and 1.
I'm not that I'm okay with, but I'm talking about the other gimmick plays, Chris. If you're going to run those, like you said, jet sweeps, wide receiver screens, how are you not using Thornton? Because all these other teams are using these guys that are blazing fast. You watch Kansas City, you watch these teams run those offenses, and that's what they're doing with those guys with speed, but not Patricia.
Yeah, and again, I don't mind. Like I said, I don't mind using Bourne there sometimes. But
sometimes.
And that's another guy that's. I mean, you know, not to digress, but what the hell happened to Kendrick Bourne? I mean, you know, he seems like he got in this doghouse with Belichick and never got out. I can imagine Parker's hurt. They could use him, no?
He got in the doghouse, and it seems to be affecting his play. Because even when he's on the field, it's almost like he's a little tentative, and I don't know. I definitely think it's affected his play.
Yeah, for sure. And so okay. So when you look at,
but offensively,
you got to look at Mac Jones, Joe. Mac Jones. Let's start there. Okay,
yep.
Let's really start there because we're going to get to the offensive line because that's my,
I know that's your pet peeve.
All happening.
I know.
But what do you make of him now at the halfway point?
So, Chris, I told you last week, after the game, I called you. I was at that game live last week, and watching him live and watching him go through his progressions and his checkdowns, he's a tick slow, Chris. Live, you can see it. He's a tick slow in making those reads, and it's affecting where the ball is going or the completion percentage. It's just affecting the rhythm of the offense because he is a tick off. You know what I mean? And you see it. It's obvious, especially live, Chris. On TV, you don't necessarily see it as much, I don't think, just because of camera angles and the different things they're showing you when the game's going on live. But when the game's on TV, but when you're watching it live, you can see it.
Yeah, and you being there. By the way, you had that was a nice day, wasn't it?
Oh, it was 75 degrees in November.
I think it was nice. I think it was warmer there than it was out here during that time in Arizona. So, but listen, I see some of the things. I see some of the things you see with Mac Jones. I see him still dropping, throwing off his back foot, flat-footed when he throws the ball. And I get it. I mean, the pocket isn't, the pocket isn't clean. We'll get to that in a second. And maybe the pocket's not clean, and the fact that he's everything in his mind sped up now. But that flies contrary to what you're saying about being a tick too slow. So I mean, maybe he's so concerned about what's coming in front of him, coming toward him, that by the time he gets to his progressions, now it's behind. Now it's a tick slow. Now he can't, catch up to the play.
And that may be right.
But yeah, he doesn't look good. He doesn't look sharp. Doesn't look like he did last year. And it's weird because you hear a lot of different things. You hear, hey, look, Mac Jones, you're regressing. This is on you. I mean, or hey, it's the coaching. You're not being led along properly. It's too disjointed and dysfunctional. And then you got the performance issues on the offensive line. So I would love to see in the second half, Mac Jones be able to operate with a good offensive line, get protection, okay, get some good play calling. Then I think you can compare apples to apples to last year, right?
You can, but Chris, last year in McDaniels' offense, it was bang, bang, bang. It was okay. Here, and he had to go boop, 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 and he made the read, right? But I think that was the rhythm of what McDaniels was doing. I don't think listen, they went through that craziness in the preseason, Chris. I don't know what the hell they were trying to run, right? And then they tried to incorporate that a little bit the first couple of games of the season. And I would see then Zappi came in, and now Jones is back. But that whole, fluidness of what McDaniels was doing with him and what McDaniels did with Brady isn't there right now. And I'm not quite sure. The offensive line would definitely help, right? Obviously. But I don't know.
Well, let's get to that. Okay. Give me your assessment of that right now.
Well, listen, Chris, the win side of the line, now they're starting to play games with that, right? Because they got guys shuffling in and out because that side of the line's a disaster. And then the other side, Cole Strange started out real strong, but he struggled, Chris. The last 2 or 3 games, he's really struggled.
He is. He's getting benched at times or rotated through for Isaiah Wynn.
First round draft pick, by the way. First round draft pick, and you're getting replaced by Isaiah Wynn. First round draft pick. I'm going to keep saying it. First round draft pick. First round pick.
28th pick in the draft. Yeah, listen, we talked about it. And look, I think he's going to be a player. I do. I really do eventually. But not where you picked him, not where you took him. You took him at the 28th spot. You could have had. We can go through that. Dean and all these other guys. But again, I look. And with Strange, okay, so he's getting benched for Wynn, and Wynn's coming in and out. Do you think? You think that's like? I mean, obviously, that's the last ditch effort for Isaiah Wynn, no? Just put him at guard.
Wynn. Listen, Wynn. I'm sure, Chris, they might have tried to bail on him during the trade deadline. Nobody wants him. Get some kind of a draft pick, even if it's his 6th round pick.
Oh, they had to have him out there. They
had to have him out there. Nobody wants him, right? Nobody wants Wynn. So yeah, that's a Wynn's last ditch effort. Wynn's pretty soon. Wynn ain't going to be in the lineup at all. I have to think, but the offensive line, Chris, if they're going to win that stretch of games coming up, especially when you go on the road against teams like Minnesota and you're going to be going to Arizona. And I know Arizona's not that good, but that's still going to be a tough matchup. Vegas. I know Vegas is playing terrible, but McDaniels knows you better than anybody. Those are going to be tough games on the road. And if the offensive line doesn't step it up, you at this point, Chris, when we get into, I know we're going to get into the rest of the schedule shortly. You don't have much margin for error because I'm going to say this. You're figuring you're going to lose twice to Buffalo. So the offensive line better step it up, Chris, and protect Bones, Zappi, whoever the hell's in there, Corso. I don't care who's quarterbacking.
Let's
I'll
go.
put you out there in a goddamn wheelchair.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Get the arm warmed up, ready to go. I'm good. I'm good. My play action is, it's like Montana over here,
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
look, and the pre-snap penalties are a problem for the offensive line. The breakdowns, the communication sucks. And they missed Andrews, and he'll be back. So he practiced this past week.
And I think Chris Witcher will be back too. The wide receiver will be back too.
Parker
is supposedly with the bye week is supposed to be back. We'll see.
And so I don't know if I could put it on the wideouts either with Mac Jones and that connection because I'm not, like you say, he's a beat slow. I'm not sure if
and I think that might be because of the offensive line, Chris. Not some of those picks. That's not on the offensive line. Some of those picks aren't.
Well, look, like I said, that pick to Jacoby, like when he was throwing towards Jacoby Myers a couple weeks ago. The pick six that never happened.
He got saved by the penalty. Yeah.
I don't know. I think going back and look at that, I think Myers cut the route off. I really do. So again, there's a lot of dysfunction. So okay, because I want to get to the defense, but then go to the coaching. Because to me, okay, there it is. Well, who coaches the offensive line?
Patricia.
Matt Patricia. Who's the OC, basically?
Patricia. I guess.
How the hell? So both of those things are failing miserably right now. The play calling sucks, Mark. It's atrocious. The red zone play calling's just bad. They don't take shots into the end zone. I mean, it took in Indianapolis, the only touchdown they scored was that step in from Rondé Stevenson, who, by the way, is their MVP so far this season. So,
Chris, why is it last year they had Hunter Henry caught so many touchdowns in the red zone? What is the difference? Because
that last year their offense was different. There's a lot of check down throws, a lot of underneath routes, a lot of over-under stuff where guys can come free into a zone. Those are made for tight ends to do. McDaniel's offense.
Okay.
Not a lot of deep shots down the field, right?
Okay.
And
I'm glad you brought up Stevenson, Chris, Ramondre Stevenson. So we're lambasting the offensive line. However, he's running the ball really well. So they can run. They're able to block for the run. Is that what you're telling me?
No, they still can't do that either. It's him.
Well,
I mean, it's him. Mark,
Okay.
you know what? Get a fullback. Go back to the days of putting a fullback in this offense, okay, and run it and get guys pulling, open up gaps, and let Stevenson run the ball. That's what they need to do. And they're just not going to do it. They won't do it. But Patricia's got real problems. It's halfway through the season. It's no good. This experiment is not working. I hope McDaniels gets fired over there. Maybe he can come back.
Well, supposedly, Chris, he's on the hot seat, believe it or not, already. If they finish the season with 4 wins or 5 wins, Crazy Davis may can him.
And then nobody's going to give him a job, so bring him back because
nobody
is pitiful.
will ever give him another job.
Here.
He'll never be a head coach again, anyways.
No. So the MVP of the offense right now is either Stevenson or Folk. That's pretty much it. That's my take.
And Harris was inactive last week. So what's going on with Harris? Is he still not healthy, or is it just, hey, Stevenson is playing so well, we don't need you right now? They tried some other guys last week. I mean, they had Jonathan Taylor playing, which I liked seeing him out there because they need that.
He was tough to watch, man.
No, he was tough to watch, Chris. But Jesus Christ, you give the kid 1 game in 2 years. I mean, get the kid involved in the offense. I still think he can help you.
It shows how bad it shows how bad the offensive line's playing. That he can't do the things that Stevenson could do. I mean, I hope Harris is going to be back. I think that hamstring's always a tough thing to deal with. Yeah. So, Offensively, I think we know the issues. Offensive line, coaching. How are they going to?
And Mac Jones does have to. And Mac Jones, Chris, does have to step up.
Yeah, he's got to grow up a little bit, step up. Just get out there and do what they're telling you to do, even though it's wrong. So I guess so. And that's the state of the offense. And Mark, we flip to the other side of the field now. I mean, you got to feel coming in. I know the teams they play, some of them suck, but you got to feel pretty damn good about what you're seeing on defense. Obviously, Judon is the MVP of the team.
Oh,
this
absolutely.
dude's got 11 and a half sacks. He's leading the league in sacks. He's top 4. He's top 2, 3 in every category you could think of. Right
Judon Judon, Chris, is going to be one of the candidates for defense. I mean, granted, because of their record, he probably won't win it, but he's going to be right up there for defensive player of the year, maybe, Chris, in the whole league.
He should be.
What do you think?
He should be. And you know what? Wasn't that the way it was last year? I mean, at this time, going into the bye,
it was, and he faded, and I don't know what happened to him, but he faded last year. Remember?
So everybody's tempering it just a little bit, as to what will be. But I think he understands that now, and he's been handling himself different.
And believe it or not, Chris, and I know we like to bash the coaching.
Yeah.
But they've actually done a pretty good job at giving him spots where they can rest. They they rotate guys and give him spots during the course of a game where he's getting a breather. And I think they're managing his snaps a little better than they did last year, anticipating, hey, by week 11 or 12, he fell off the cliff. He ran out of gas last year for whatever reason. Could it be an injury? Could he have just been, was it an issue with the coaching staff? We couldn't figure out what the hell happened to him. But they have been managing his snaps, Chris.
Well, I think they've been able to do that a lot better because of how well Dietrich Weiss has been playing and how well.
And Uche, Chris, has been playing well.
Right. And I know you've been pounding that drum for the last couple of weeks about him. He's kind of flying under the radar, but he had 3 sacks last week too. And I mean, you could have had 3 sacks last week. Jesus Christ. I mean, that friggin', and you know what? They're like the highest paid offensive line in football.
I don't know what's going. That team's a disgrace. I mean, they fired the coach, right? That team's a disgrace.
Now they got Jeff Saturday coaching them now. This dude's coming from ESPN. He coached high school for a half an hour once,
Man, he's going to be offensive coordinator pretty soon. Him and Eli are going to come out on the sideline.
Yeah, they're going to come off the screen for the Monday night thing. But listen, offensively up front, I think their front seven's playing well. They are. I mean, they have trouble against the running quarterback.
Chris, they're doing it without any contribution all year, basically, from Bondmore.
No, I know.
I know he's been out hurt, but he didn't give them anything at the beginning of the season. So basically, they've had no Bondmore, no contribution all year. If I told you before the season started,
too, or Gottschalk, whoever's been hurt,
they're back. But they played well last week. But if I told you want to get no contribution from Bonmore all year, pretty much, you'd be like, oh, we're going to get killed on defense, right?
Yeah, 32nd in against the I'd be say against the rush. Then is what I would say. Right. So I mean, the offensive fronts, the defensive front's playing well, except for when they have to play.
The middle of that lineback, the lineback is in the middle of great.
It's still a huge problem. Anytime they have to play a friggin' quarterback that can run, which is why Arizona makes you nervous, because Kyler Murray otherwise stinks as a quarterback. We'll talk about that in a second.
And you'll be at that game, Chris, right?
I will be at that game, And like, don't give me any crap either for going to that game. You went to the Indy game. I mean,
But I went without you, so that was a good thing. So you're going without me, so they should win.
Maybe that 07 I went without you too.
Oh, say you got to bring that up. You want me to bring that? You got to want me to do a segment? I'll do a Catone's comment. Listen, I'll do a Catone's comment right now on 07 if you want.
So, the middle of that defense, the linebackers are a problem. I mean, Bentley's played better of late, but against bad competition. Anytime they go against good competition, he's lost. He's just lost on the field.
I was just going to say
Belichick loves him, man. He loves him.
He praises him. Oh, my God. Did you hear him last week in the press conference?
He does so many things good for us out there. He gets us into the right defenses. And I get it. I get his experience. I get all that stuff. But can't you have both? Can't you have a guy that can get you into the right defenses and actually play well?
Well, he used to with Hightower, and he used to with Mayo. He thinks that Bentley's Mayo and Hightower?
No. Nope. No. Those guys were fringe Pro Bowlers.
Yep.
This is not. Okay? So that piece seems to be a problem. Corner is the bright spot. Corner is a bright spot right now, other than Miles Bryant, Mark.
And he's another guy he keeps putting on the field, Chris. Why is he on the field? Do we actually need him on the field? I don't understand it.
No, but corner's been a bright spot. Jack Jones, Marcus. I like these guys. Jonathan Jones has been playing really well. Mills, you can rotate these guys through the middle, in and out. And I think they're playing well. And anytime Duggar is on the field, the safeties play well. When you lose Duggar, that's a huge problem.
Wichita played well last week, Chris, but I think it was just because the competition was so bad. Peppers actually played better last week, but the competition was horrible.
Yeah, Peppers sucks.
He stinks, right? He stinks.
To me, Peppers and McCourty are your weakest safeties you have, honestly.
Well, McCourty, Chris, listen, what is he, 35 years old? I think it was a stopgap.
Hey, we're the real deal, New England field, pal, okay? He's not playing well.
You didn't let me finish my thought. We knew he wasn't going to play well, but he was the stopgap because of our poor drafting and free agency pickups. We have nobody to fill that position, Chris.
Yeah.
Because of the idiot that's on the sidelines that wants to play GM too. Don't you love Belichick? Oh, Belichick. I'm going to get into that. I'm not going to get into it. That's why McCourty's still there. You've had 8 safeties in the last 8 drafts that have turned out to play well that we could have taken to replace him, and we haven't taken one of them.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I mean, defense, they're up in the league in a lot of things. Let's see how they do against a better competition. I think the coaching's okay, and I know we're going to get on the other side. We're going to come back and talk about the rest of the season and what we think is going to be happening. But, again, defense, bright spots, Judon and MVP so far. Let's see if they can keep it up against the Jets and all this other competition that we have coming. So this Pat's preview was presented by Special Sauce Podcast. What's your special sauce? SpecialSaucePodcast.com. Hey, when we come back on the other side, we're going to give you our predictions for the rest of the season. We're going to tell you how is it possible that this team can make the playoffs at a 5-4 record at this point. All that and more right after this.
It's the Special Sauce Podcast. You like this song? This sauce is good.
This is start off as finance. Train them, trust them, and let them lead.
With your host, Marcus Aurelius.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. And Mark, look, we broke down the team, everything on the side. And by the way, what we didn't talk about real quick is this punter sucks right now. He's the highest paid punter in football. Okay, Bailey. And I'm sorry, but he's atrocious right now. Special teams isn't playing all that bad, except for him. He sucks. And I'm not sure if they brought in punters this week in the bye week. I didn't read that or see that. But I got to tell you, man, This dude is not he's not earning what he gained over there for that. And I know you agree with that, Mark.
Yeah, they listen. You're spending, but think about it. You see these teams, Chris, after 3, 4, 5 years. Some of these punters want money. They let them go when they draft another one. Like, why are we giving so much money to punters? I don't understand it. We did it. We've done it in the past too. Like that's a position Belichick really values and actually wastes his money on. But other teams don't. I don't get that.
I know. So they're gonna have to. Something's gonna have to be done because it's all mental right now for him. He can do it physically.
He's got
that kicker stupidity that's going on in his brain right now. You know, so
he's got the yips. He's not himself at all.
No. So okay, looking at this team moving forward and looking at some of the stand. First of all, is this a playoff team, Mark?
Fringe. They if they get in, Chris, they're going to be the last seed. Is going to be my prediction. You'll get in as the last seed.
Well, that's where they're sitting right now. Because right now, if you go down the AFC playoff picture, if it ended today, and it's 7 teams get in, right? 4 division winners,
7 teams. Yep, 7 teams. Yep.
So right now, in order, you got Buffalo, and these coincidentally are the division leaders too. You got the Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans. Those are the division. And look.
And you would open up based on that. Would you open up against who? Would you open up against?
Well,
Titans
we're not
or
in
Ravens?
Right now.
No. But if you were 7th, who would you open? Who does the 7th team open up against?
Chiefs.
Chiefs? No, Chiefs don't play. Chiefs get a bye.
They all play?
Oh yeah.
Nobody
No, you're right. No, 1 seed does.
Yeah,
the
Buffalo.
1 seed does. Buffalo gets the bye. So you'd play the Chiefs. You'll get destroyed in the first game.
At Arrowhead. So
okay, you're out.
So the 4 division winners. I mean, look, does anybody topping Buffalo? And look, Josh Allen's got his elbow hurt and all that other stuff right now.
So Chris, the way it's gonna work out is that you're gonna play
only a half game up.
The way it's gonna work out is you're gonna play Buffalo or Kansas City if you're the 7th seed, because one of them's gonna be the 2 seed, and you're gonna get whoever play. You're gonna get destroyed.
I know. But let's back off. Let's not send everybody to the bridge right now in New England. Let's talk about the seeding. So, okay, Buffalo, Chiefs, Ravens, Titans. The wild card teams right now would be the Jets, and these teams are all 6-3.
Dolphins.
The Jets, the Dolphins, both 6-3, and the Chargers are 5-3. They haven't had their bye yet, I don't think.
No, and I think the Chargers, Chris. The Chargers, Chris, are life and death every week. Every week they're life and death.
Yeah, and then they come the Patriots at 5-4. Then you got the Bengals behind them, and those are really all the teams. Because then after that, you got the Indianapolis and the rest of the.
And the Bengals, Chris, are going to struggle until Chase comes back, and Chase may not be back till like week 12, 13.
Well, let's hope not, because we got them on the schedule too. So, can they? Let's forget the division for one moment, okay?
Yeah.
Can they catch the Chargers, the Dolphins, and the Jets?
I believe they can catch the Chargers, yeah.
I mean, you got to believe they can. I understand what the Jets did to Buffalo last week. The Jets beat Buffalo.
I'm not including the division teams because you said forget the division. So I'm saying.
Well, I think forget winning the division.
Okay, that's out. Yeah, I definitely think they can catch the Chargers, Chris. And if you beat the Jets, well, you're tied with them and you own the tiebreaker. If you beat them next week,
right? Can they beat the Dolphins at home?
I think they can, but Jesus, Waddle and Hill, Chris, they each got almost 1,000 yards already. It's ridiculous.
I know, but
Isn't it funny how when you give a guy weapons? Tua looks like an all-pro quarterback with those 2 guys running around the field, doesn't he, Chris?
And look at what
we both think Tua stinks.
And look at what they're doing. Look at what Philadelphia is doing when they put A.J. Brown and Smith over there.
They got Smith and they got the other guy. They got the other guy that they drafted too. I forget his name. He's an all-pro too.
Right. So
they got 3 receivers and the tight end, Chris.
So again, these are the teams that are going to have to catch and all that. Chargers, Dolphins, Jets. You know they can beat the Jets. They went on the road and did it. Now, again, I know the Jets beat the beat Buffalo last week. But, that was one of those games, Mark, where it kind of looked to me like Buffalo was rolling their helmets out there and basically saying, this is like we did against Chicago. And and then all of a sudden it kind of bit him in the ass. So we'll see what happens next week. Tune in to our show, Corso and Catone, or the preview of that Jets game as they.
And I guess the Jets, Chris, I heard a couple of things last week where Jets players were basically saying, "Yeah, we should have won that New England game in New York," and they want to play us again, and a couple of guys were kind of talking a little bit, giving a little billboard material that
felt used to matter.
It used to matter. They felt as though that pick six, that game's a blowout if they don't give them the pick six. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see.
So I think they could catch those three teams. I do. I would obviously. You'd love to see them at 6-3 right now. They win that goddamn Green Bay game. But so
has Green Bay won a game? I don't think Green Bay's won a game since then.
No, I think they're going for what, their fourth loss or fifth
or fifth loss,
in a
fifth
row
in a
or
row,
some
maybe.
shit like that. So again, these are teams I think they can catch. But now looking at the division, there's only a half game that separates right now Buffalo, the Jets, and the Dolphins. If Josh Allen is hurt, because I don't think he's going to play tomorrow. I really don't.
If Josh Allen's
all the
hurt,
snaps this week.
Chris, if Josh Allen's hurt, that opens right up. Listen, who knows what happens? Who knows?
And they downplay it. I like us. Listen, against Miami, I like our secondary right now, the way they're playing against those guys. And I'd like to see Marcus Jones on the field a little bit so he can run with those crosses.
Listen, I think if you play Miami, you're going to have Marcus Jones on the field. Certainly not your buddy Bryant.
Well, they're definitely going to be playing Miami again. So looking at, let's go through it because at the beginning of the year, we went through these predictions. Okay, yep. So let's go through the second half of the season. Okay, they got 8 games left.
Yep.
So they come back. Okay, so start the Jets. They're going to win this game at home against the Jets?
Yes.
I agree. Okay, that's 6. I agree. Okay, now on Thanksgiving night, they go to Minnesota.
Loss.
Think so? You don't think Minnesota trips up just a little bit?
Not a nationally televised game on Thanksgiving night. No.
Okay, so now it's 6-5.
What do you think?
Yeah, I do too. I think they're going to lose the game. Okay. Do we need to talk about Buffalo at Buffalo home against Buffalo?
Unless Josh Allen is hurt. If Josh Allen is healthy and playing, we lose the game.
Let's assume he is. So okay, that's enough. Now they're 500 again. They're 6-6 now. Now you have the stretch. You go on the road. You go to Arizona and then you go to the Raiders. I like them against Arizona.
I'm going to say they beat Arizona. I know what you're saying about Kyler Murray, but I think Arizona stinks.
Kyler Murray's horrible. He's horrendous.
No, but he can run. You're saying.
He can run, but he's the dumbest. He cannot handle an NFL offense. That guy, Kingsbury out here is just pulling his friggin' hair out, trying to deal with this guy who can't figure out when to spike the ball.
I'm going to mark that as a win.
Okay, I have too. So now they're 7-6, right? Okay, now they go to the Raiders. This is one that. Listen, on paper right now.
You got your behind kicked in the preseason. Listen, Belichick is not going to lose to McDaniels. He's just not going to do it. He'll figure something out. He'll do something. He'll figure something out. I'm going to go New England will win that game by like a field goal. I'm going to go with New England in that game too.
Okay, so what were we? 7-6 coming into that game?
That goes to 8-6.
Is that too many games?
Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Those two wins?
Yeah, I think so. Because you have to have them. You have to have them. You got to have those 2 wins. I know it's going to be tough, but you're going to have them. So now what? 8-6?
Yeah.
Okay. I think 9-10 gets you in.
I do too.
Now you got the stretch of Bengals, Dolphins, Bills to end the season. You got to win 2 of those. You got to win 1 or 2 of those games, Mark. You know what? They're going to be relying on the last game of the season if Buffalo's playing. That's why I keep telling you, and everybody out there in New England land, you got to root hard for Buffalo for the rest of the season. Because if Buffalo can wrap this thing up, home field, right?
They won't play anybody.
They won't play anybody against New England, and boom, you can get the win. And New England plays pretty good in Buffalo, don't they? Historically. You gotta hope
other than that playoff game, historically they do play well up there. And if it's not Josh Allen, Chris, then hey, why not?
Can they beat Cincinnati and can they beat the Dolphins? Well, I think they're going to beat the Dolphins.
Chris, Cincinnati, is that game here or at Cincinnati? I forget.
In New England. 2 home games. Cincinnati and Dolphins in a row, and I think they're going to beat the Dolphins. So I think that's your 9 right there.
Cincinnati, I think they're going to beat the Dolphins. Cincinnati, Chris, it all depends on Jamar Chase. If Chase plays, I don't know. I just
They've
don't
looked
know.
bad though at times. Their offensive
They
line,
have looked bad. They have. But the last game Chase played, Burrow threw 6 touchdown passes.
I know he did, but that offensive line sucks so bad.
No, I know.
They suck so bad. I can't imagine
I know.
Judon and Uche and Weiss and these guys coming after him off the edge. So
I know.
We'll see, because that may be the 10th win. I don't know. We'll see, but I get them at 9.
Let's put it this way. If Chase don't play and you beat Cincinnati, you get in with 10 wins, Chris.
Okay. All right. We'll see. So we got them 9, maybe 10.
We got 9, maybe 10.
So what does that put? What in 9 games? What is that? To
9 and 8.
9
and 8.
9 and 8. So it's worse from last year, right?
But Chris, when you look at the other teams, if you beat Miami and you beat the Jets, well,
that puts Miami at least at 4 losses, and they're going to have more. These teams are going to have more losses than that. That's why you got a chance at the playoffs. This number to make the playoffs just keeps going down. Now it's at like
it's going to be 9.
Something.
It's going to be 9 or 10. If you get 10 wins, Chris, if you can figure out a way to combination 10 wins, you're in the playoffs. There's no question you'll be the wild card. That's your goal. 10. 10 is the magic number. You get 10, you're in the playoffs, Chris.
Because I think the Titans are a paper. I don't think they're very good.
I don't think they're very good either, but the division stinks.
No, I know that they're going to win the division.
Wait a minute. Deshaun Watson, is he back?
Well, he get back in what, week 11 or something? Something like that? 12? Week 12? Where are we at right now? Week 9, 10? Week 10?
I think he's back next week.
Next week or the week after. So
maybe
record? They can knock off some of those teams.
What's their record?
They're 3-5. So maybe they can knock off, because they're not going to make the play.
Maybe
they can knock off a couple of those teams over there.
If they ever get to 500 and Watson's back, hold the flow.
Well, they could take care of some of those teams in that division.
You'll go crazy if Watson takes them on a run because you wanted to trade for him.
I wanted to trade for Watson. That's all right, because number 12 is going to come back next season anyway.
Okay,
that's what's going to happen.
Here we go.
You put Mac Jones on the bench and say, I think you need a little more learning. I think you need a little more to do right now.
You're dreaming.
So
Mac, you're dreaming. He's going to finish his career in San Francisco.
So
I left my
I thought you said Vegas.
San Francisco.
I thought you said he was going to end up with McDaniels after they run Carr out of town over there.
Well, that could be too, right?
That's a seriously dysfunctional situation.
That's if McDaniels
Vegas
is still there, Chris.
And you got Derek Carr talking in post games like, I don't want to say that right here. He's saying things like that. Like, I don't want to make a comment here. So something's going on. There's a disconnect between McDaniels and Carr. Carr's not good enough for there to be a disconnect there. He's just not. He's not. So, hey, listen.
Well, then there's rumors this week, Chris, that at the end of the season, they're going to go try to get Aaron Rodgers and put him back with Adams. The Raiders.
Aaron Rodgers is, you know what? He's out there like friggin' Pluto, that guy. He's given up on his team. He's given up on players, coaching. He's just an a-hole, period.
Did you see the girlfriend on this week with the blue hair? She looks like she came from Mars. I don't know what he's doing. He's so out there, he's gone.
Nah, he's a cuckoo clock. So, and that completes our State of the Patriots address. So delusional Mark and I still have them winning 9, 10 games, making the playoffs.
When they win 9 or 10, Corso and Catone called it, because all those local jackasses on the radio, they got them gloom and doom. We're the real deal, and we still think they got a shot for 9 or 10 wins. And that's our honest analysis. We're not being homers. That's our analysis.
No, we're the 2 most negative people on the planet. How the hell can we be homers? You, especially Joe. He can't even say anything right now. Joe's a positive guy. He doesn't even want to put his foot and toe in the friggin' water on this one, do you, Joe? So,
Joe fell asleep.
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing back there.
Where is he?
You know?
Nobody heard from him all day.
We're cutting
shut things down. We had some technical difficulties in the background here. It shut things down, but I'm not stepping in this realm.
Hopefully everybody out there can see us, hear us, touch us, feel us, all that good stuff. So This State of the Pats address was presented by Corso Law Group, Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm, corsolawgroup.com. Allow us to be your voice. Hey, listen, God bless you, Mark. After we get back on the other side, step up to the sports book, because in Real Deal, we're going to go Sunday spread and give you our locks of the week right after this.
It's that time again for a timeout for a message from one of our sponsors. No one ever thinks they will be in the need of a criminal or traffic lawyer, but things happen. Corso Law Group is Arizona's leading criminal and traffic law firm. Their 20-plus years experience and attention to detail has helped thousands of people all across this great country who found themselves in a situation in Arizona. So whether it's a traffic ticket or if you need reduced DUI or more serious issues, call or go online to corsolawgroup.com and talk with these expert attorneys who I know will help you. Corso Law Group.
Back in with more Corso and Catone, the Real Deal New England Feel. And I love this part of the show. I've had people messaging us, talking to us about Sunday spread. And look, Mark, we've made a lot of money for people. Well, our locks have been pretty good. I got screwed couple of weeks.
Our locks have been pretty good. Oh, you got screwed.
I really got screwed on that Buffalo game. And that Buffalo, it was like 10.5, and the over was like, I don't know, the over was like 47. And they blew it. They didn't score once. Josh Allen wanted to throw an interception on the 3-yard line. And there it was. Naturally. They blew my lock of the week, right? So let's see if we can make you people some money right now. Let's go Real Deal, Joe.
What are you writing now?
So I'm working over here. You're talking about nonsense. I'm working.
That's why we are the Real Deal New England Feel. It's going to be real.
He's talking about working in that wash. He says, I'm working over here. He says, what the hell are you working over here? I mean, seriously, what kind of, kind of bullshit you pay the people right now. So
working on the odds.
So let's get to it. Sunday spread. Mark, we've had some good picks last couple of weeks, and let's get right into it. So I know you have a few games you want to talk about, San Fran being one of them.
My lock of the week, Chris, is San Fran. As I said when we were talking about the Patriots for the rest of the season, the Chargers, Chris, are life and death every week. They're behind every week. They've been behind 7 weeks in a row. They've been behind. San Fran is one of those teams. If McCaffrey stays healthy, they're one of those teams, November, December, you can see that they're starting to get healthy. The defense is getting healthy. They're one of those teams, Chris, who's going to start to put one of those runs together, and they may be the team in the NFC to fear going into the playoffs. I think they're going to absolutely destroy at home. I realize they're giving 7. They're going to destroy the Chargers. Well, I had 7.
7.5.
I don't care if it's 7.5. Well,
DraftKings has updated.
I don't care. I don't care if
7.5.
it's 7.5. I don't care if it's 8. They're going to destroy the Chargers. The Chargers stink. Chargers. That record is a phony record. They're going to get destroyed Sunday.
Well, people are with you because that spread went from 7 to 7.5. So people
Who's
agree
your lock
with you.
of the week, Chris?
Well, listen. So that's just so everybody knows. The San Fran is favored by 7.5. Okay. And Mark, you know what? I agree with you. I was afraid of the half point. Do you like the over? I mean, you want to parlay? You want to give people a parlay in that game?
I'm going to parlay them. If I tell you I'm going to parlay them with, you'll cringe. But I'm going to parlay.
You like the over under. You never like over under.
I don't play with over and unders. I don't play with them because look what happened to you in that Buffalo game. I don't play with over and unders.
Oh wait, just to piggyback off your San Fran analysis just a little bit. They're a different team at home too. Let's add that to it. San Fran plays so much better at home. Garoppolo and Deebo Samuel's back this week too. Deebo Samuel's back this week, along with Caffrey. So, and the Chargers have that boob as a coach, who that's who McDaniel should have waited for that job to come open. He really should.
Yeah, he really should have, Chris. With that quarterback, he really, really should have waited for that job to come open, and he didn't. He should have.
So that's
really
Mark's
should've.
lock of the week. San Fran giving up 7.5. And if you're going to put it with something, Mark, give them a good parlay right now.
You're gonna cringe.
I'm always don't you. Well, you'll never say the Patriots anyway. You're never gonna.
They're not playing. I'm not gonna say the Patriots. They're not playing.
Go ahead.
Vegas.
No, I'm not gonna cringe. I'm not gonna cringe.
Vegas at home.
That was one of my games.
It's gotta get healthy. They gotta do something, Chris. They gotta.
So Vegas is favored by 4 points playing Indianapolis.
I would parlay. San Fran's my lock of the week, but I would parlay them with Vegas.
I was surprised that Vegas wasn't your lock of the week, honestly.
A couple weeks ago they were, and they won big for me. But I like San Fran with Vegas. I like San Fran.
You got Jeff Saturday has taken the job in Indianapolis. Now, I like Jeff Saturday. He was a great center, great player for the Indianapolis Colts. He just happened to have Peyton Manning as his quarterback, nevertheless.
Who's that goofball GM president? What's his name? He's nuts.
Irsay. Did you see the press conference? Did anybody out there see the press conference?
He's nuts.
With that fruitcake? That dude, he was giving crap to Daniel Snyder in Washington. And, putting aside everything they've done, all that stuff. This guy was giving crap to Daniel Snyder. I don't even understand if Jim Irsay is even on this planet anymore, Mark. This guy's a fruitcake. So you got that. You got Jeff Saturday, who's never coached an ounce of football in his life. Okay.
Raiders your lock of the week?
No, it's not my lock. It's not my lock, but I'll tell you, it's damn close. It's my lock if Josh Allen doesn't play.
Okay, so if Josh Allen plays, your lock is Buffalo.
Yeah, but I love the Raiders in this game. Just to put that aside, and I honestly like the over in this game, the 41 points.
Okay.
My lock of the week is Buffalo. Buffalo's given up three to Minnesota. Now I realize Minnesota's 7-1, something like that. Yeah. I get it. I understand. I still don't know if I'm a huge believer, though. I there's something about Kirk Cousins
there's something about them, yeah.
That I feel like he goes to Buffalo and just
Chris,
himself.
What is that line?
3.
That's got to be because they don't think Allen's playing, Chris. If Allen plays, they're going to destroy Minnesota.
Well, I'll tell you what. And some people out there, some people out there think that, you know what happens when I go down the list of the games? It just pulls you into the following week, too. So you're reading, you're looking at Buffalo, but you're looking at them against Cleveland. That's 5.5. I thought I screwed up. No, it's now 3.5. Yesterday the spread was 3. It went up to 3.5. So everybody out there agrees with me. Everybody's burying Buffalo right now for it to go up a half point in a day, right?
They are.
That must mean people think that Allen's going to play. I don't know. There's people out there that think they'll win this game regardless of Allen. I'm not one of those people. So my lock, if Allen plays, everybody out there, my lock is Buffalo giving up the 3 and the 42 points. I think they're going to hit the over regardless. That's a parlay that I would take. If Josh Allen doesn't play, Vegas is my lock of the week. Mark, the other game that I really like is Seattle at Tampa Bay, but in Germany tomorrow morning. 44.5 is the over. Seattle. They're getting 2.5 points from Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay I think they stink.
All right.
Now, I had them as a lock a couple of weeks ago just because, and they screwed me there too with Atlanta. But I think Tampa Bay's bad right now. I think they're a dysfunctional team. What do you think?
All right. Yeah, they are. They're a bad team. They are. But, Brady might have went over there. Found some young German thing over there. You don't know. They're in Germany.
Joe,
wife's gone. He might be inspired.
Joe, you knew it was coming. I've been waiting for this to rear its head about talking about number 12 or what his next endeavor. We'll just call it his next endeavor is, right? So
no, I think you're right. I think Tampa Bay, Chris, was life and death last week. What did he throw that touchdown with 5 seconds to go? They're in bad shape.
The Rams should be ashamed of themselves.
The Rams should really be ashamed of themselves. They gave that game away. They're in bad shape, Tampa. They really are. I like Seattle, but I'm going to tell you who I like, Chris. If I had to pick a third game, I don't understand how it's not like 14, 15-point favorites. I love Kansas City is going to absolutely annihilate Jacksonville in Kansas City. I don't know how it's not double digits. At least 10. What the hell does Jacksonville got?
I don't know. I mean, Jacksonville's one of those teams, though. They're one of those teams that just they hang around.
Yeah, they hang around. They're going to hang around. They're going to get the doors blown off them tomorrow. Blown off.
And the other game I'm surprised you're not touching, and this is a game that I look, if you want a parlay and if you want a teaser or you want a 3-team parlay, something like that.
Now he's talking about teasers.
Put Dallas. Listen, if you want a 3-team parlay, put together Dallas. Dallas is going to Green Bay, giving up 4 points. I think Dallas is going to wipe Green Bay's ass for them.
Well, Chris, now the other kid's out injured. I don't think he's playing either. The kid Romeo Dubs, who's been playing on and off. He looks good, doesn't look good, but he's one of the receivers that of the few that Rodgers has. He has nobody to throw the ball to, Chris.
Right. So there's that. I think
he's
could
out.
Put that.
His ankle.
You could put that with Seattle, Vegas. You could put it with Buffalo if Allen plays. You could put it with some of what Mark's talking about. And you could even put it with the Giants. These are games.
Yeah, you like the Giants. You said you mentioned the Giants. You mentioned the Giants. You did.
Yeah, I mean that's a spread. What is the line on that, Mark? That's a 4.5 point. That's a 4.5 point spread at home against Houston. Houston sucks. Houston's
Houston's another one of those teams. I don't know how every week it's a low spread. I don't understand that.
So I'll tell you what. Do this out there. Put 3 teams together. I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to put the Giants together with Vegas and Dallas. There you go.
And I'm going to put together San Fran with Vegas and Kansas City.
So not only
as a 3-teamer.
So not only did we
give Vegas is going to screw the both of us.
I'm going to screw Josh McDaniel. So not only did we give you our locks of the week, we gave you a 2-team parlays, 3-team parlays. You should be calling us on Heated Hotline, okay? Sitting back in your hot tub somewhere up in the friggin' mountains, skiing away and doing whatever you want on the bye week after saying, hey guys, you helped us out a lot. So let's see what happens, Mark, with that. But I'm gonna put those together. So Sunday Spread was presented by Studio 42 Designs for all your graphic design needs. Studio42designs.com. And hey, that's another one in the books, guys. Look, we show up, man. We gave it all to them this week, didn't we?
We did. We absolutely did. Listen, I can't wait for the second half of the season, Chris. Some real interest. We got a tough road ahead, though. Tough road. We got to make some improvements on offense.
And coaching. So thank you for joining us in the nation. And look, get on this week, people. All of our shows are up for you to watch, listen to, subscribe now, like Joe is putting on the screen. Go in, give us that little follow, thumbs up, all those things to follow us. And don't forget to tune into the Pats Nation, the only Patriots postgame show worth watching 30 minutes following the Pats return out of their bye to take on the Jets. Mark and I will have all the postgame breakdown 30 minutes following that Jets-Patriots game that goes off at, I think, 1 Eastern, your time. I think 1 o'clock Eastern is that Jets game. And come back next week, 7 p.m. Eastern, as we preview that Jets-Pats game. We're going to have all that breakdown, all the pregame discussion, injuries, anything you need to know. And for your football gambling fanatics, we're just going to keep giving you locks. You come back, listen to Sunday Spread, give us a call on Heated Hotline. I want to know your lock of the week. Mark and I want to know. We want to make some money too, So give us a call, Heated Hotline, 855-313-7287. Anything you want to discuss, we'll be ready for it. We are Corso and Catone, the real deal New England feel. See you next Saturday.